Today we're doing dividing a quantity in a given ratio. So this is the system that we're going to do to get through the process of doing each question. We're going to start with the total parts in the ratio, that's adding up all the numbers in the ratio, equals the total quantity of whatever they're talking about. Then we always find one part next. Then after that you're going to find the parts that are in the ratio. So if there's two numbers in the ratio, we're going to work on those two numbers. If there's three, we may need an extra line here. It just depends on the question. Okay, so we're going to go through this process in a minute, but just to start with, this first question says, find the total number of parts if the ratio is 2 to 7. So all you have to do there is add these two numbers up. That's what we're adding when we're getting the total parts. So 2 plus 7, we have 9 parts in this ratio. Okay, so you need to be able to do that to be able to start the questions. All right, so in this next one, we're dividing $500 in the ratio 4 to 1. So the first thing you do is add up those numbers in the ratio. If we add those up, we get 5. So we're going to write here that we have 5 parts in our ratio, and those 5 parts have to equal our full amount of money, $500. So as I said before, we're always going to be finding one part in this next line. Right, that's always going to be a 1. So what do we have to do to 5 to get 1? We have to divide by 5. Over here we do the same, divide by 5. And whatever your calculator gives you, there's no rounding in this line. This one works out to be a nice neat 100. We're not even going to write the units on because we haven't finished the question. All right, now, the next part is to find the two lots of numbers in the ratio. Now, the one part, we've already got that, so we don't need to do that again. So that's actually already been done. But we do still have to find the 4 parts. So to get the 4 parts, we're going to take what one part is and times it by 4. And that will give you 400. And this is an amount of money, so we're going to put a dollar sign there. Now that we know we also had to do this one here, we might put the dollar sign up there now. Okay, so now we're going to write our answer down. So I'm doing 3 dots. I've shown you this before. That means therefore. So we're going to conclude it now. The answer to our question would be the 4 parts amount has to be first. So that's $400. And then we write and. The second amount of money is the 1 part, and that was $100. So that is your answer to your question. Okay, some people write these as a ratio. The answer is not a ratio. The ratio is up here. These are 2 amounts of money in the correct order. Okay, the next question. Peter, John and Andrew bought a lotto ticket for $12. Now, normally those 3 people would contribute equal amounts of money. But for whatever reason, somebody may not have had $4 that day, and so they said, well, I don't have enough money, so they decided that they would contribute to the ticket as $3, $6 and $3 respectively. So that means that the first person named gave the first amount of money. The second person named gives the second amount of money. The third person named gives the third amount of money. So you know who gave what amount of money. All right, now they actually win. They win $4,000. So they're going to split it. Wouldn't be fair to split it evenly because they didn't contribute equal amounts to the ticket. So they're going to split the winnings in the ratio of what they actually purchased the ticket in. So we've got 3, 6 and 3. Now the first part of the question just asks you to simplify that ratio, 3, 6, 3. So we can't use our calculator for that because there's 3 numbers. So we have to find what number divides evenly into 3, 6 and 3. And that would be 3. So we're going to divide all these numbers by 3. 3 divided by 3 gives you 1. 6 divided by 3 gives you 2. 3 divided by 3 gives you 1. So they've asked you that so that you can just make their working a little bit easier in the next part. So now they want to know how much prize money does each person get. Okay, so we're going to take our simplified ratio. I'm going to add up these numbers. Might write it down again here. We're going to add these numbers up. And if we add these up, we're going to get 4. So the start of our working is 4 parts equals. Now the full amount of the prize money was $4,000. That's what they're trying to split up. So it's not the $12. They're trying to split up this $4,000. Now remember, the next part is always to find one part. So what do we have to do to 4 to get an answer of 1? We're dividing by 4. And do the same over here. And that will give you 1,000. Now, one part is needed because in our answer. So I'm going to actually put the units on that. And that's one of our answers. I'll just put a little asterisk next to it. The other number we need from this ratio is the 2 parts. So I'm going to do what we did last time when we did this last question. I'm going to take whatever the 1 part answer is, and for 2 parts we need to times by 2. Now I'm running out of room there, so I'll just write this answer underneath, and it's $2,000. But you can write it next to it if you like. So let's underline the answers that we're looking for here. We've got that and that. But remember, we have to write them down in the order of the ratio. So we want the 1 part answer first. That's $1,000. And we'll do a comma. The 2 parts we want next. The 2 parts was $2,000. And the third thing in the ratio is a 1, so we're going to give the 1 part again, $1,000. So that's how they will be getting their prize money. Okay, so you should really attach their names to it. So the first person was Peter. The second person was John. And the third person was Andrew. So that's how much money they will get out of the prize money, divided up in the way it should have been. All right, now let's look at the next ones. This is a very common thing for people when they start renting with friends and they decide, well, we'll split it evenly. But what actually happens is somebody ends up with a bigger bedroom, there's only 1 car space, so one person goes, well, I'll take the car space, you park on the street. They might come to some sort of an agreement. So these two said, well, okay, we'll work it out. Our rent is $390. Gary must have got a little bit bigger of a bedroom or something. So they agreed on the ratio of 7 to 6. Okay, so if we write this down, we have Gary and Louise in that order in the ratio 7 to 6. Okay, so now we're going to start our working. Add the numbers together. So we have 13 parts equals the total amount of the rent, $390. Remember, we always find 1 part in this next line. So to go from 13 to get an answer of 1, I'm dividing by 13. I'll do the same over here, and your calculator will give you 30. Now, 1 part's not one of our answers this time. We only need the 7 and the 6. Right? So we're going to find 7 parts equals. So we're going to take our 1 part and times by 7. And for 6 parts for Louise, we're going to take our 1 part and times by 6. So if you do that on the calculator, you're going to get 210 here. Let's put dollars in front of it. And this one, you're going to get $180. So in the end, for your answer, how much rent did... Oh, I did too much working, didn't I? I should have read the question. We only want to know about Louise. So Louise was the 6 parts. So I did not need to do that at all. Okay, so I've done too much working. I've wasted a bit of time. If I had have read the question properly, I would have gone, okay, it's only Louise. I'll only work out the 6 parts. So we write down Louise pays $180. Okay, so let's look at the next question. We're dividing 720 centimetres in the ratio 1 to 3 to 5. Okay, so this time we're going to be adding up the 3 numbers in the ratio. Okay, so if we have a look here, add those up. 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9. So we have 9 parts in our ratio, and it's 720 centimetres is the full amount we're trying to split up. Okay, so we're going to find one part first, like we always do. What do you do to 9 to get an answer of 1? You divide by 9. Same to the other side. If you do that on your calculator, you're going to get 80. Now we have to find all 3 numbers in the ratio. This one we already have. Now we're going to work on the 3 parts. Right, so 1's already done. Now we're working on 3 parts. So we've got 80, which was 1 part, times 3, and that will give you 240. And then we've got to work out 5 parts. So we get whatever the 1 part was, and times by 5, and we get that. So to answer our question, putting them all in the correct order, therefore, all right, we have 1, then 3, then 5, so we're going to do 80, then 240, then 400, but they all have to have centimetres on the end. Okay, one more question. All right, in Year 8, the ratio of boys to girls is 4 to 5. So total number of parts in our ratio is 9 parts. And the total number of students in Year 8 is 225. Always find 1 part next. What do we do to 9 to get to 1? Divide by 9. Do the same over here to the other side. Divide by 9, and you'll get 25. Now, we are being asked here, we'll see if we can avoid the extra working this time, how many girls? All right, so this ratio is boys to girls. They told you that here. So the girls part of the ratio is just the 5. So we're only finding what 5 parts equals. So we're going to get what 1 part is, which is 25, times by 5 for the 5 parts. And if you work that out, you have 125. So our answer to our question is, how many girls are there? 125 girls. Okay, so we're going to come back in the next video and just do 2 more questions on this work.